Incarcerated people in Canada are often without access to information, but one Winnipeg group is working to change that and helping to bring books behind bars. Kirsten Wurmann is part of the Prison Libraries Committee and joins me now. Thanks for being here, Kirsten.
Thanks so much for having me.
So Kirsten, the Canadian Federation of Library Associations has its right to read, and it says there's a heightened importance for access to books in jail. Why is that?
Well, I think there is a heightened access to information, which means to books, to libraries in prisons right now. And I think it is especially because provincial institutions, including Manitoba prisons, do not have a mandated directive to have libraries in prisons. So many of them, most of them, do not have a library in the prison. So our committee from the Manitoba Library Association has created library spaces, offered library programming, and provided books to now almost all of our provincial institutions in the province. This is a very information-rich society that we live in, and our community members who are incarcerated, they need information, and probably now more than ever. And just because they are incarcerated does not mean that they now are denied the right to that access.
So your group really is their access to the outside world. So I'm super interested, what kind of books are the most requested, and are you surprised by some of those requests?
Well, I've been doing this a long time now. I've been going into prisons now for 15 years, 12 years here in Winnipeg and in Manitoba. And I will say that our most requested books are Indigenous language learning, any Indigenous book or author or subject matter, anything to do with Indigenous art, beading is very, very popular. But then we also have a lot of very oft requested books for addictions materials by the author Gabor Mate, for instance. And then also we have requests for dream analysis. That's a really big one as well. And James Patterson is a never-ending favorite of folks who are incarcerated. They just love that prolific writer, and we just cannot keep enough James Pattersons on the shelves.
So there is really a wide range. So lastly, I just want to ask, how can this help with rehabilitation and really with inmates getting them ready to be back to a part of society after their release?
Well, like I said, we live in a really information-driven society. And for us to incarcerate folks in prisons where there are no libraries, like I said, no internet, very little access to computers or technology, long lines, wait lists for school programming, we're not really setting folks up for good reintegration. So what we hope to do is with our library, and not just with the books, not just the books themselves, but with the relationship building with the library workers, with the library volunteers, that incarcerated folks can realize, you know what, this is a place that I can get information about my legal questions. We've started a whole new project about accessing legal information. I can get books about my Indigenous history. I can get books about how to learn Ojibwe. I can get programming about storytelling for my kids. I can get programming about how to use the computer when I leave prison, because I will go to the library on the outside, because I have this experience now with accessing the library inside the prison. And I've worked with these library folks, and I know that they're nice and they respect me and they respect my lived experience and my lived knowledge. And so now I know where I can go, a good, safe place to go and be for when I am out. And I still need access to information.
Kirsten, thank you so much for the important work and programming that you're doing.
Thank you for having me.